All right, welcome to the Straight Red Card, where we are going to go over the ins and outs. Well, not in details. We do that later with the player ratings, but we're going to go with a grand overview and review of USA versus Jamaica, which we pulled out 1-0, which was nice. And before we get to that, make sure you like, subscribe,
leave the comments.
What?
It said leave the comments.
Oh, I was going to say screw your sister. Okay. Well, I won't.
Let's go with leave comments. Yeah.
Okay. Leave comments. Don't do your sister. It's illegal. All right. So I don't even know where to start with this.
I know where to start. Let's start at the 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time kickoff on a Sunday.
What the was that?
Oh my God.
What's the point of that? So all of us who were in Eastern Standard Time can't go to work tomorrow until 10 a.m.?
If you're lucky. No, I have the pleasure of waking up in about 5 hours, so let's hammer this segment out. Seriously.
Yeah, guys, can we have
a Sunday. It's a Sunday.
Start the first game at 5:30 and have the second game at 7:30. That's not really hard, and it would still be watchable for people on the West Coast.
And you're inside. It's not like you're dealing. It's not like you're dealing with like sunlight or weather and shit. You're inside. Come on.
It's like I feel like the Gold Cup got like relegated to like dumbass time on Fox.
I think they're trying to compete with Japan with the Olympics. The fuck?
There are Olympics?
Yes.
All right, there are. I don't know how they're worried about the Olympics, but okay.
Hey, we're watching our Olympic team play right now.
Yeah, pretty much. It's close. It's close for sure. By the way, make sure you're not as close to the mic as you were the last show, Brett, because you were not loud, but comparatively louder, which is probably good. Somebody needs to fucking squash me. All right, so let's start with the broadcast. All right, outside of the late broadcast, the broadcast coverage, and people are saying, "Oh man, you guys you getting sucked in by Lawless. He's a troll." Well, what am I supposed to do? I have to review the broadcast in the game, and Lawless big flapping lips are a part of the broadcast. So what am I supposed to ignore that, Brett? I'm wondering.
Maybe. But no. It's a lot more fun to talk about it.
You can't, because here's a guy who comes out the beginning of the show and says the players being called a B- team or a C+ team or a B, they should feel highly disrespected about that. No, they shouldn't. That's just a fucking reality. It's a fucking reality. Sorry, I turned off the F-bomb blanker. It's a reality, and him saying that is just stupidity because those players aren't worried about that anyhow. They don't care. They're just there to put on a great performance.
They're happy to be on the pitch, and they're happy to show what they can do. Some good, some bad.
They don't feel disrespected.
Yeah.
You dumb oaf. God, Lawless. It's just... So that was pregame, but thankfully, Mo stopped this insufferable ogre from continuing to spout his crap when he said that, you know what, even if this team gets to the finals and doesn't win, it's a bigger accomplishment than Nations League. And Mo just stomped him out.
What? Yeah.
Maurice, thank you, brother. Thank you for...
Did you catch a comment after that? Because after Mo sort of like corrected the ship, Lawless goes, "So is this an A team?" And Mo goes, "No." And he goes, Lawless goes, "Well, there you go." And as it's cutting away, Mo goes, "What does that even mean?"
I know. You stupid flapping. So I made Mo my man of the broadcast, my MOTB, for putting Lawless where he needs to be. Like, he needs to be questioned. His stupid comments are finally being, for the second game in a row, or it might be third, being challenged by Maurice Adu. Maurice Adu, thank you for that.
Let's watch our show.
Yeah. So, well, let's get to the game then. I mean, well, there's probably more broadcast stuff, but
I think people are here for our coverage of the game.
That's true. So the coverage of the game. Where do we start on that even? I think you had a good comment earlier about that.
Do you happen to know what? I mean, we talked a lot during the game. I think the game itself was a pretty ugly performance, but we weathered the storm and
I think you
worked
said
our way into it.
I think you said something like, "So, what do you expect?"
Oh yeah. So I was like, looking at our squad.
Yeah.
At this point in the tournament, what do you expect?
This.
You expect this. Yes.
This is exactly what I expect. A 1-0 grinder of a win for the United States. And that's what it was. There was nothing real flashy about it. It was it was a grinder. It was a meat grinder. And we pulled it out. No, we didn't necessarily decide we were going to play meat grinding ball, but Jamaica was going to play meat grinding ball. And we had to say, okay, you guys continue to do that. We're going to get tough when it's tough as necessary, but we're going to keep playing our game, which is what they did in their 4-3-3.
That first 6 to 10 minutes was just sketchy at best. Constantly getting pressured. Eventually, we worked our way back into the game, and we started getting more possession. Just shutting it down a little bit, but they kept pressing. They kept pressing that high press against us, and it made some moments, especially like I said early in the game, where it was like, nail biting. It was like, oh my god, it's too much. It was too much.
Yeah. The first 6-8 minutes were kind of like losing your virginity. It was like, I'm not really sure what the hell I'm doing here, and I got to pull my shit together. And then after that, it just got a lot better. Right.
The first 6 to 8 minutes was a lot less fun, though. Come on.
If it only lasted 6 to 8 minutes, yeah. But yeah, we pulled it together, and then from there on, it was a slugfest, and we had most of the possession. And I think, we were the better team for the most of the game, which is saying something against a team as good as Jamaica is now with this particular group of players. And the fact that we are, yes, Lawless, playing our B-C+ team, this is exactly what you would expect. But I have to say, one thing was really impressed with, Brett, is how rock solidly hard, how much effort everybody on this team gave.
Yeah, no, I have to agree completely. And I was gonna start with a very specific player in mind, since we kind of went harsh on him last game. But I thought Busio did a much, much better performance, especially on the defense. He broke up plays. He was aggressive. He had some sloppy first touches, but I think once he was able to get the ball and was able to have a little bit of time, I thought his decision making was better. I mean, similar to what Lawless mentioned in the halftime show, his effort on the defense was just night and day compared against Canada. So I thought he had a much better game in that sense.
And we already knew Acosta was going to bring his motor, right? And he brought it.
Well, it's because he ghosted against Canada. So yeah, he has about a 50-50 chance here, So
yeah, but he didn't play the 6 there. He did tonight.
Yes,
and that's where he shines. Now, I'm not going as far as Stu does and say Acosta is our definite number 2, number 6. And if that's confusing, the backup to Adams, I'll put it that way. I don't know if he's reached that level, because I still want to see Sands play that position too. But Acosta was a beast. He was all over. Did he make some bad passes? Yes, he did. But he was a beast on defense. He was all over that goddamn field. He did make some great passes. So I'm glad I got it right, Brett, when I said he was going to be the number 6. Stick it in your eye, Brett.
What are you going to do? You win some, you lose some, and I'm happy to lose this one. No, Acosta had a great game, I thought. He did make some errant passes, but when he did make those passes, he got back on it, and a lot of times he recovered his own missed pass, So I thought he had a great game. Absolutely.
And those two both have really good games. I think Acosta better than Busio, barely.
Yeah.
Leggett was kind of the guy that sometimes went missing in this game a few times, but he still had a good game too.
He had
later, but
he had a much better second half. I thought the first half was lacking. Energy level just wasn't there, and then he came in back in the second half, and it was much better for him. The problem was, and we talked about this right around the 60th, 65th minute. I'm pointing out that looks like Leggett's getting gassed.
Yeah, I agree. Yep.
And who did they take out? They take out Hoppe, and they take out Cannon. Not Cannon. Moore. There we go.
Yeah. Yeah.
And Leggett plays the full 90, 94, 95.
I suppose if you let him play 84, you just let him finish at that point.
Yeah.
But his set piece taking, his corner kicks, it was awful, Brett. Awful. We need to find somebody else.
It was like, not saying Busio's was any better when he was taking them, but I'm just like, why isn't he taking them at this point? Because Leggett just simply wasn't having it today.
No.
They weren't going anywhere. For the first 4 or 5 corner kicks, they decided to try to play, some nice little short corners that never work out.
Cheeky.
It's just lay it in there. Let DK and Robinson go for it.
No kidding.
Just lob it in there. Just don't lob it too high, because Blake was always there to collect those high lobs. Whenever Vines laid it in there, God.
Yeah, exactly. So you can't put it too close to the goal mouth. And they did over and over again. And then they just had some really bad plays. Some of them weren't Leggett's fault because they were set pieces. There are set plays they had designed prior to the game. Yeah, it was just poor. We shit away and wasted so many set pieces in that game. We weren't even dangerous on some of them, outside of that Acosta blast when it was cleared. But yeah, it was pathetic, and that needs to improve. It really does. That's something that the team can focus on and get better at. And if you have to bring Matt Turner up to take a corner kick, do it.
Why not? Why not?
A joke. So those people are like, this guy's dumb. He said Matt Turner should come up and take the corners. Yeah, I meant that. Okay.
Breaking into what they talked about at the beginning of the game, the pregame and everything like that. This was, in my opinion, in their opinion too, this was DK's match to shine.
Yeah.
That didn't work out so well.
It didn't. It didn't. And it wasn't all his fault, because really one of the biggest problems for us in this game with Busio, Leggett, and Acosta, even though they're giving a lot of effort, was connecting the back 4 with the front 3.
Sure.
It just didn't happen enough. And when it did happen, it happened mostly with Hoppe. And, when Hoppe did it, he was great. He attacked. And when you attack a lot, you lose the ball a lot too.
I was going to say, sometimes it seemed like he may have tried a little too much at times.
Mm-hmm.
But again, I appreciate the energy. I appreciate the attempts, because we need that. We need that pressure. We need that push into the attack instead of the constant playbacks. So I had no problem with Hoppe getting dispossessed or making a bad pass when we're in the attack. When he's in our defensive third, but
yeah.
I felt like that was perfectly fine. And when it came to DK, you're right. A lot of it's not his fault. There were a lot of them were just lobbed balls up to him. And that should be his bread and butter for the most part. He needs to be able to bring those down, even being pressured from the back, draw the foul, do something. But it just wasn't his game, No,
it wasn't. And, it kind of makes an argument in some ways, watching the way Hoppe is so good on the wing, but also a great guy in sneaking around the box. Why not just start Hoppe at center forward? Fuck it. You got Gio Caccini, you got Areola back, you got guys you can play on the wings.
Mm-hmm.
Start him at center forward.
I brought it up when we've talked about Hoppe before. Even though he won't play the type of center forward that Berhalter wants, I honestly think an attacking trio of Pulisic, Reyna, and Hoppe would be absolutely killer.
Yeah,
you don't have that target striker, but if you play the ball and if you play possession and you lace those through balls better, one of them is going to get on it.
Dude, Absolutely. Here's the thing, though, and this is crazy. You know that bulldog, that fucking bulldog inside of Hoppe? He's a fucking fighter, dude. That guy is rambunctious. He is relentless. And he's not afraid of anything. I think Josh Sargent needs to get a little bit of that magic from Hoppe. And he will go the next level as well. I'm not saying that Hoppe's a better player than Sargent at this point, but I am saying that kind of fire that whenever that camera was on Hoppe, he's like, I'm gonna kick someone's ass, and I like that. I like that. I don't.
A bit of piss and vinegar,
Yeah, I like the piss and vinegar. I don't like when the camera's on Sargent and he's kind of blank faced, whatever. I don't know how to describe it. I'm doing my best with sound effects. It's just not. It's just not. Like my example here. Sargent needs that to be more effective as a player, as a leader, as a center forward. And when you're the center forward of any team that you play on, you're almost always sort of kind of like the one of the leaders automatically, right? You know that, Brett. I mean, I do for the time I played. The center forward that scores is also kind of even if he's not the captain, because David Ward was the captain, he was the center midfielder, but we all knew Chad McGowan was the actual leader of the team.
He was? Okay.
So I'm talking about my time playing at Fort Knox. So
I think what this has made apparent, keeping it on DK at this point and talking about Sargent,
is that I'm really high.
let's keep it on that position, because what we talked about this after the Nations League. But it just seems apparent that the formation that we play, we just don't utilize that position well. I feel like Berhalter is not really 100% positive what DK or Sargent or whoever else will play center forward, whether it's Zardes, needs to do, because they're not getting the most out of any of them when they play that position.
Yeah, you're probably right. It's probably better for Hoppe not to play center forward.
But he's got then he's got to compete with the deep wing position. So do what you can, I guess, to get on the pitch. But
I mean, at this point, for me, I like the fight, the grit, the battle that Hoppe brought to this game today. And I think if Berhalter can
both games that he's played,
I know,
always brought this entire tournament.
Exactly. And I like his aggressiveness too, even though I know that means he's going to lose the ball sometimes. And I'm perfectly fine because he's trying to do something, which a lot of guys don't do. I'm also thankful. I have to say this, that Yule and Lewis did not play today. I was a little disgusted when Roldan came in, but then he got the assist, so I had to eat crow.
You know what? Roldan actually had a decent game, and he got the assist. So
outside of that first pass he made, he's decent.
And you can't take. I guess you can't really take into consideration aspects. He can't really help, like being slower than 99% of the people on the pitch. But saying that, despite that issue, I think he had a pretty good game ahead of him.
Yeah, I mean, if that's the kind of winger you want, where you're going to say, all right, I'm just going to let Shaq Moore do most of the running, and then Roldan's just going to be out there to hang out.
He's just going to pivot around and
pick up some open space and get the ball and pass it in.
Yeah.
If that's his job, he did it very well today. He had some good crosses, and of course, he had the cross that led to the goal. He's not going to do that much fast running for you. He's not going to threaten the defense with his speed. But if you want to let the right back threaten the defense with the speed by moving him up more, which is what they did more, and and then dropping the ball off to a Roldan who's in open space, that might work. Would you want to do that for 90 minutes? Probably not, because you're going to get your ass bit, because that requires the right back to do a whole lot of running backwards and forwards. But great passes. Hey, Roldan, I know said a lot of shit about you. Wasn't personal. It's about your game. Today, you gave us a goal. It's a great pass. Thank you.
Especially since we're looking at it being 12:30 right now. Thank you for getting that assist.
Yes.
I didn't want to go through another 30 minutes of extra time and potentially a PK shootout. I'll pass. Thank you.
Folks, we stayed up for the game. We're recording this after the game. So, guys like Brett got to go to work tomorrow morning. All right.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
So this is not cool.
I'm working, man.
We're doing this at 12:22 right now, I believe is the time. So we don't have much time left in this show. What am I missing on this so far, Brett? I'm sure you got notes. I'm missing an angle here, except for Stu saying some really obvious things throughout the game.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. Stu was so obvious tonight.
Yeah.
I mean, he made some good points because I was saying early in the game, he keeps mocking what I'm saying. I'm writing.
Mimicking, I think, is the better word for it. Not mocking. He's not mocking what you're saying. He's mimicking what you were saying.
Yeah, I would say something to Brett, and then he would say it like a second later or 20 seconds later. And I'm like, well, I beat you to it.
Yeah.
Beat you to it, Stu.
I win.
But then, later on in the game when he's asking for Zardes and Cannon to come on.
Oh, my God.
I'm like, no, those aren't the right subs. But it turned out it worked out. So even though he was wrong and I was right, it still worked out for Stu. So
well, I mean, I don't think Zardes or Cannon were the keys to our win in the end. Oddly enough, I think Roldan sub actually turned out to win. That was the big WTF in the end. But
yeah,
hey, he showed up. That's all that matters. We were talking about the potential subs coming in and stuff like that. We were talking about Gio Caccini coming in for
we were, yeah.
For any of the wingers at the point. The Ariel, I think, was who we were focusing on because we wanted to keep Hoppe out there.
Yep.
We talked about Williamson coming in for Leggett because, again, about the 65th minute, Leggett was gassed.
He looked gassed.
So why not bring in somebody who really wants to impress? I don't know why. I don't know why Williamson's not getting any love, but whatever. Yeah, I'm not the coach.
I mean, I can't get inside Greg's brain tonight because I'm just dealing with what I watched, and so it's going to take me a little bit of time to soak it all in. But yeah, kind of odd. What was the other thing that I found that? Oh, I wanted to give our defense props for this game.
Yes, it's a great point. Great point to bring up.
Yeah, I have to do that before we close out the show because I thought Vines was a lot better than he's been. Moore was as good as he's been. Were they perfect? No, but they were solid. And then Robinson was a beast. And yes, he made a couple mistakes too. Okay, that happens.
I mean, we're nitpicking at that point. Robinson had a great game.
He was a beast. And Sands, same thing. Did he make some mistakes? He certainly did. But generally, that back four was solid.
Yeah. Nope. Defense actually showed up today. Completely across the board. Not just individuals by any means. But everybody showed up today, and I thought the defense did an incredibly good job.
Yeah.
And Turner had a couple great saves. I mean, so.
Yeah. So I think that's going to be the show for tonight, guys. And by the way, for those of you wondering what a dog from every village sounds like in German, it's aus jedem Dorf ein Hund. So if you want to say that to your friends, you can. Make sure you sub, you like, you comment, you share it with Pornhub. Until the next time on the Straight Red Card, good night.